Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about the NWSL, women's soccer, just soccer, only soccer. If you're new to my channel, I'm KC. I'm a women's soccer commentator, analyst, and journalist. I'm also the owner of Monarch Sports, which is a website I started to facilitate the growth of women's sports journalism, as well as helping new journalists build their portfolios by giving them a place to publish their work. If you would like more information or would like to apply, see the link in the description below. Now, on to the video. Alright, so as you can tell from the title and thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be reading a women's soccer fanfiction that was sent to me via email. This person didn't want to reveal their name or any information about them, which is fine and understandable, but they did say this fanfiction made them think about me, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. We'll have to see, I guess. They said that this one is going to weird me out. Again, we'll see. I haven't looked at it yet. I just know it's from Archive of Our Own. Then again, like if you think about it, Watso fanfiction is a weird part of the fandom, and in general, it all kind of weirds me out. Last year though, I think after or maybe before the Women's World Cup, I did read a Watso fanfic on my channel that I actually liked. Yeah, I know, that's surprising. It was a murder mystery fanfic based around Germany's women's national team. It was crazy because, yeah, I actually liked the story and writing. This might not be the case here. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so I haven't looked at the story yet. It is from Archive of Our Own. I do see that in the link address. Yeah, so if you don't know what Archive of Our Own is, it's a archive of fan fiction, basically, to put it simply. And from what I heard from others, there is women's soccer Watso fan fiction on Archive of Our Own. I actually never looked at the tag, the women's soccer RPF tag. Yeah, let's look at that real quick. How are there 5,953 fanfics for women's soccer? What is all this? Why are you guys shipping yourselves with Lucy Bronze? Beth Mead, Vivian Medema. Yeah. How the hell did you guys get Alessia Russo and Leah Williamson? I mean, I know they're teammates, but still. Actually, yeah, so apparently there's a lot going on in this tag. 5,953 works. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the fanfic that my subscriber sent me. Alright, so going back to that. Okay, so the title of this is called All Covered in Exclamation Marks. And how the hell did you even get this shipping, bro? Okay, I understand now why this person said they thought about me when they found it or read it. And that's because it features probably one of my favorite players, and that is Jennifer Marujan. And not only that, apparently she's being shipped with her teammate, Ada Hegerberg. Yeah, I can see a problem with that. Mainly because 1, Ada Hegerberg is straight. 2, Ada is married. And 3, she has kids. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to be reading on my channel. Alright, yeah, here we go. Okay, let's get into it. It's actually kind of funny because I'm reading this the day after Lyon won the French championship for the 17th time. Ada didn't play in that match, but Maro did. Alright, so yeah, I'm just rethinking my existence. Alright, no, this is weird. Okay. At first, it's just an itch, something restless crawling under Maro's skin, hard to pin down. She figures it's the tension ahead of the Champions League, where they're heading towards the close end of the competition. But she doesn't usually get nervous like that before matches. And even describing the feeling as nervousness doesn't quite seem right. It's more like a pressure in her head that's constantly trying to pull at her focus, and that makes all the French in training even harder to follow. There's no pain, but it still annoys Maro. It must have shown a little bit, because when Maro sits down for a lunch with her teammates, Ada gives her a smile and a thoughtful look. This feels weird. The itching lightens momentarily, but it's definitely still there. "How are you doing?" Ada asks as she mixes up the pasta and sauce on her plate. "Oh, I'm fine," Maro replies automatically, but Ada raises her eyebrows. "Just asking because you've been a little fidgety. We've been in city before, we'll be great. No need to worry." From the side, Lucy tisks before returning to her food and her phone. So I'm assuming that's Lucy Bronze. So I'm guessing maybe this was written like a long time ago, because Lucy Bronze, she did play for Lyon, but she now plays for Barcelona, and she also played for Manchester City. All right, so I'm not worried. I've just been feeling weird for some days. Mara rubs 2 fingers against her left temple. "A headache?" Ada asks. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, Maro says, and closes her hand around the air in front of her face. So it's like this, you mean? It's like Ada imitates Maro, repeats her gesture, and laughs. "Whatever that means, you should probably get it checked out by the physios." Maro nods non-committedly. She watches Ada push a strand of her hair behind her ear, a casual action, but somehow still fascinating. Ada undeniably is a force of nature. Perhaps one wouldn't necessarily expect it from just looking at her and her perky smile for a second, but Maro has watched Ada play and found that it's hard not to get caught up in her. Maro tries to contribute her own magic to Leon's type of play, and so far it's worked out pretty well. Maro and Ada click, so to speak. Maro tends to click with like everybody on a team. Maro didn't decide to transfer to Lyon to find her, but she's pretty glad she did. She eats the rest of her lunch more or less in silence, listening to Wendy talk about her plans to go to Russia for the Men's World Cup. Was that in 2018? I can't remember when the World Cup in Russia was. Maro feels better afterwards, so she decides she doesn't ask for an additional appointment with the physios in the belief that the itching passed completely. It lasts about a day before it starts again on the team's free day, away from training and the other players. In addition, there's a short weak stab of pain in Maro's temple, like the precursor of a headache come and gone again. And then there are words in her head that she doesn't recall thinking about. It's foreign words that sound Scandinavian, so she must have picked them up from Ada, but she can only guess the meaning of them. It might as well be Swedish she got from Anya. The words are pesky and stick in Maro's head, like somebody else is thinking them for her. She can only watch them pass by or push them to the back of her head. The only consolation is that they sound familiar and friendly, no matter the content. The word football comes up a lot, which Maro obviously knows, and then the word Manchester, and maybe those are Maro's own thoughts getting muddled in as the team takes a flight and then a bus to head towards the Champions League semifinal. Ada sits across from Maro at the 4-person table in the bus, headphones on like most of their teammates. Maro looks out the window and watches the passing scenery, but for some reason she feels drawn to glance at Ada again and again, like when you feel somebody is watching you. And since we're on the topic of Lyon, my Lyon jersey just shipped. Maro really has the weird baseless sense that Ada is focusing on her somehow, magnified by the tension under her skin, but she never catches Ada looking. Only when the bus stops at the hotel and they all get up, Ada pulls the headphones from her ears, smiles at Maro, and then looks away. It's already late in the evening, and Pedro sends everybody to pick up their luggage and head to their rooms pretty quickly. So Maro is surprised to hear a knock at her door when she's brushing her teeth the hotel bathroom. That should probably say in the hotel bathroom. The visitor enters without waiting, as Mara washes out her mouth and puts her toothbrush away. Hey, it's me, Ada calls through the half-open bathroom door. When Mara joins her, Ada has already comfortably dropped into one of the chairs. Mara sits down opposite of her. Hey, to what do I owe the honor? I just want to see how you are. You know. Ada closes her hand into a fist in front of her face, repeating how Mara first described the pressure around her head. I mean, now that I think about it, if there's like this going on to your head, like that sounds like a headache. Oh, and here's my cat. All right, so I just want to see how you are, you know? Ada closes her hand into a fist in front of her face, repeating how Maro first described the pressure around her head. Wouldn't want to miss you tomorrow. Maro laughs. I can play. It had nothing to do with the match. Ada's eyes sweep over Maro's face and then land on her own folded hands in her lap. I know, she says in a voice that Maro can't quite read, but when Ada looks up, her dimples are showing. There's a silence between them for a moment, then Maro speaks up. Can I ask you something? Sure. It's a Norwegian word, I think. I want to know what it means. Maro says and repeats one of the more frequent words that kept circling in her thoughts. She probably mispronounces it, but Ada nods anyway. Sair? It means like victory. Why? Victory. Maro turns the word over in her head to no avail. I must have heard it somewhere, I guess. It's a good word. You should remember it tomorrow, Ada says and winks. Mara rolls her eyes, but she's glad they can joke about it, that they don't need to fear anyone. Leon is the one being feared after all. Do you still have that weird feeling at all? Ada asks. Mara listens to the inside of herself and finds no itch, nothing like that. She doesn't know when it stopped, but now, with Ada sitting in front of her, there's just her own calm pulse and breathing that seems to mirror Ada's. It's gone, Mara replies. See, I wouldn't miss playing tomorrow for the world. Never thought anything different. They both looked at their phones in the same moment, and upon seeing the time, Ada sighs, slowly gets up, and fixes her rumpled clothes. She's staying in a room somewhere on the second floor. Maro doesn't know where she overheard that, but somehow it's a fact she knows. I'm actually not sure what's going on in this story. Is it? I don't know. Are they in each other's heads? Are they hearing voices in their heads? Is that the idea for this? Okay. Mara follows Ada and opens the door to the dimly lit hotel hallway for her. Follows Ada and opens the door to the dimly lit hotel hallway for her. Good night, Mara says and opens her arms. Ada leans in for a hug as she replies, Schlaf gut, in her out-of-practice German. Oh, okay. Schlaf gut. Mara can feel the movement of her lips against her cheek. The door closing behind Ada sounds abrupt. All right, so the next part. Mara keeps her eyes fixed on the white 14 on the back of Ada's black jersey in front of her as they walk onto the pitch. It's kind of funny because I think I know what jersey that is. They line up for the anthem, and everything else outside of the stadium is forgotten. What counts is now and here. What counts is getting to the final. Wendy yells at them in the circle before the match starts, and then the ref blows the whistle. It's just like in so many other matches that Maro has played with Leon, but this time she feels as if something has fallen into place that was set askew before. She doesn't have time to think it over in the hurry of the game, but it's as if she's gained another perspective on the pitch, and honestly, that level of weirdness fits so well into her recent state of mind. Mind reading. I'm guessing this is mind reading. Maro usually has a feeling for where Ada is going to stand in the penalty box. They train too much for that not to happen. But this time, it's like she knows exactly where Ada is, where she's going to turn, and what she's going to do with the ball, and the defender marking her when Maro passes to her. And Maro knows the ball is going in the exact same second that Ada does, 2 seconds before the goalkeeper knows. Ada spreads her arms and turns around herself as smoothly as if she was dancing. Then she is engulfed by Mauro and their other teammates crowding around her. Amid all the arms and bodies in black jerseys, Ada pulls Mauro in until she is the only thing Mauro can see. All focus on her. Ada's hand curls around Mauro's neck, drawing Mauro even closer until their foreheads touch. Mauro can see Ada's mouth move, but she can't hear anything. She still knows what Ada is saying, not clear in words, but in emotion. It reminds Mauro of the look in Ada's eyes when they walked the streets of Lyon and passed a group of men that whistled at them from a small concrete pitch encaged by bars. Ada squared her shoulders, Mauro showed her teeth, and they took the football off the guys and tore them apart on the pitch. It shows one thing about women's football. They never see you coming. Ada's eyes are closed now, and she still holds onto Mauro on the sidelines, but the calm yet defiant expression on her face is the same. To Mauro, it feels like she could step into Ada's mind, and probably the other way around. Like she can finally scratch the itch that's been bothering her. As their teammates disperse around them, and Sarah yells across the whole pitch to stay concentrated, Mauro also lets go of Ada. They don't let this lead slip from their hands. It's the fucking Champions League, and this team is made of champions. So I'm kind of getting the impression that this is, I don't know what's going on with Mauro and Ada in this story, but I'm getting the impression that they can kind of read each other's minds, like know where the other is gonna be, just from like that brief gameplay scene. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But in terms of like women's soccer, Jennifer Marozsan as a player, I don't know how to describe her play style, but it's as if she knows where exactly her teammates are going to be. Like when she passes the ball, when she crosses it or does a service, she's just so good. She knows where her teammates are going to be, and she just plays the ball like right to their feet. It's actually really impressive to see. And it's not just for Ada, but I also remember her doing this when it was when she was playing for Seattle Reign. She would put the ball like right at their feet. It's pretty cool to see. All right, so I think we're about almost done. Let's see how this ends. To be entirely honest, it's obvious that if anyone was going to help Mauro unravel this knot, it was going to be Shanice. I was gonna say Wendy because she's like the captain of the captain of the France women's national team, but she's also the captain of Lyon. Anyway, she listens intently to Mauro describing the pressure and the foreign words in her head, and the connection to Ada in the match against Manchester, only wrinkling her nose sometimes. It feels like she's two nuances more vibrant about everything else. Mauro finishes helplessly. That's a weird line. That sounds like you're in love. Mauro laughs dryly. I know I'm in love. It doesn't explain the rest. No, you're right. Shanice slowly nods. That's a bond. That's what you're describing. What? Yeah, I kind of agree with that. What? I mean, it fits. Mauro stares at Shanice. It takes her some moments to process what she just heard. A bond with Ada. Exactly. That's actually the next line too. It's exactly how they describe it, Shanice says, sharing feelings and thoughts and getting strength from each other. And to be honest, if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be you two. Okay, so I kind of got it close that it's because I said it was mind reading, but sharing your feelings and sharing thoughts like through your head with the other person. Yeah, I'm not so sure how I feel about another person being able to read my thoughts. It would probably be very, very boring because all I think about is soccer, women's soccer, nihilism, inevitability, just all the boring stuff. Anyway, Mauro absentmindedly hums in response. Bonds might be more common in football than in everyday life, because it's where people meet who already willingly bind themselves to so many things like contracts and clubs and brands. But just like love, they're usually still unexpected. If Shanice is right, Ada must feel the same and must have felt it during the last match. Maro's heart starts beating fast, and she realizes that Ada could notice that too. Man, that sounds... I'm not sure how I would feel about that. If it carries over to their link. It's scary and a little bit wonderful, but mostly scary to me. Then again, intimacy is probably one of my biggest fears. So go and get her, Shanice says, and Maro doesn't need to be told twice. She doesn't have a hard time finding Ada because she's where she usually is around this time of day, in the locker room of the team's gym, changing into her workout clothes. Ada looks up when Maro opens the door, and she smiles as Maro uselessly stands in the doorframe. Ada doesn't appear to be irritated when Maro needs ages to gather the courage to speak up. Instead, she calmly ties her shoes before she gets up and says, "I know you hear me too." I can't help but laugh at this. A wave of relief washes over Maro, and she doesn't know whether it's coming from herself or Ada, and what she was even afraid of to warrant that relief. Maro stutters. "I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I only just realized that it's a bond." Ada mindlessly fumbles open the braid in her hair, and the open strands fall along the side of her face. She smiles, and there's a hint of nervousness in it. "I didn't want to spring it on you." "So you've known since when?" Ada thinks for a moment before she answers. "A couple weeks ago, maybe." If you knew for that long, I feel like you should probably tell her. I sort of knew what it's like from Andrine, so it was easier to spot, I guess. I wasn't sure until the other day. "That was amazing," Maro agrees, grinning. Ada bites her lip and puts her hand on Maro's arm where her tattoos disappear under the sleeve of her shirt. "About the best thing that's ever happened to me." Why? When Maro leans in to kiss Ada, it's probably half Ada's thoughts pulling her in as well. As their mouths meet, Ada's grip tightens around Maro's biceps, and Maro wraps her other arm around Ada's waist. Ada hums into the kiss, and Maro catches the sentence fragments in Norwegian in her head again. Neither of them says anything as they break apart, not in spoken words anyway. Ada's hand comes up to Maro's face and brushes across her cheek. Ada laughs to herself then, and Maro tilts her head as she can't quite read the reason why in Ada yet. "What?" Maro asks. "Nothing," Ada replies. "I just thought about how Alice is going to want to know that he has bonded players now." Maro snorts, but Ada is right. She can already see him rubbing his hands over it. "God, I know. Jesus," Maro says, "but it'll be fine. We do the football, they do the rest." The announcement of their bond won't exactly change things, but management has this way of making easy things complicated with new contract clauses and updated training plans. It's incredible. I feel like that's a good commentary when it comes to trades, contracts, and stuff. It's incredible. With all the sarcasm in the world. Pedros does give them a speech about how they should be careful with their bond and implies stories of foolish men before them that managed to screw it up. But it's all pretty irrelevant in the moments when Ada runs across the pitch and Maro can see the plan all laid out in her head. The passes, the turns, and the goal. Ada slides across the grass in celebration, and Maro pulls her up by her jersey collar and kisses her. They're Leon, nobody can take them down. And that's the end. All right, so that is that. I don't really know what to make of this particular fan fiction. I don't really know what to say about it. I don't hate it, but I am kind of weirded out by it. But yeah, so that's about it. If you guys want me to read another fanfic on my channel that's rated G and there's no adult content, then yeah, sure, send them to my business email. All right, so that is all I have for you guys today or tonight, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.